Listen.
It was a high-level meeting of the ODM National Delegates Conference, which unanimously endorsed Honorable Oburu Odinga as the party leader, handing him a mandate to steer the party into the next electoral cycle.
As many of that opinion say aye, as many of the contrary opinion say no, the ayes have it. Now, Dr. Senator Oburu Oginga is the party leader of the Orange Democratic Movement.
He will be deputized by Honorable Simba Arati and Honorable Abdul Swahmad Sherif, who are both approved as deputy party leader alongside other officials elected into various positions.
National Chairperson, Her Excellency Gladys Wanga. Deputy National Chairpersons, Honorable Paul Otiende Amolo, Senior Counsel, Honorable Dr. John Ariko Namoit. National Organizing Secretary, His Excellency FCPA Ahmed Abdullahi. Deputy National Organizing Secretary, Honorable Ruth Adhiambo Odinga. Secretary for Political Affairs, Honorable Rosa Buyu.
The conference marked by a show of unity among the majority of delegates, which also granted Oburu Odinga authority to initiate and lead negotiations with other political parties as ODM begins early coalition building efforts ahead of the 2027 polls.
The NEC, pursuant to Article 87 of the ODM party constitution, endorsed a resolution authorizing the initiation of negotiations with like-minded parties, starting with our broad-based government partners, the UDA, with a view of entering into a pre-election coalition agreement. Now, therefore, this special delegates convention is invited to consider and approve the said resolution to grant authority to the party leader to commence the negotiations on behalf of the party, with the understanding that any resultant coalition agreement shall be presented before this organ for consideration and ratification in accordance with the party constitution.
However, the day was not without political setbacks. The Vihiga Senator Honorable Godfrey Osotsi suffered a blow after his nomination for the position of the deputy party leader was rejected by delegates, dealing a significant setback to his ambitions within the party's top leadership, while Nairobi Senator Honorable Edwin Sifuna survived to be axed by the SDC due to the court's injunction.
I want to get a proposer and a seconder for Senator Godfrey Osotsi to be the deputy party leader of ODM. Haya, asanteni sana. Senator wa Vihiga hana proposer na seconder. As many of that opinion say aye, as many of that opinion say nay. Sasa kama huna proposer na seconder, inamaanisha wewe hawezi kupata hiyo kiti.
The developments now signal the beginning of intensified political realignments as ODM moves to reassert its influence and expand its national footprints ahead of the 2027 polls. Will it survive its existence after the 2027 general election? Time will tell. Davis Karani for GBS News, Nairobi.
And now shifting the focus to the UDA party, President William Ruto is doubling down on his administration's track record, insisting that every promise made to the Kenyan people will be fulfilled page by page and pledge by pledge. Speaking during an extensive development tour of Kiambu County today, the president took a hard line against the opposition, dismissing them as a distraction with no viable alternative agenda. Here is a breakdown of the president's Friday tour.
ya watu wa Kiambu, niwaambie ile kazi tulikubaliana na nyinyi, hiyo kazi inaendelea mbele kama risasi bwana. Neguo, sikizeni, nyinyi watu wa Kiambu, muliniambia nipange masomo ya watoto wetu. Leo mimi nikisimama Kiambu, tumeajiri walimu 1,100. Tumejenga madarasa 23,000. Tumebadilisha funding model ya watoto wetu. Na leo masomo inasonga mbele katika taifa letu la Kenya. Tulikubaliana na nyinyi ya kwamba nipange mambo ya kilimo. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Kilimo leo mbolea ilikuwa 7,000, saa hii ni 2,500. Bei ya kahawa ilikuwa shilingi 50. Leo bei ya kahawa ni 120, 130, 150. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Mambo ya chai inaendelea, maziwa inaendelea, avocado inaendelea. Juzi sasa tumefungua soko mpya, soko ya China ya watu bilioni 1+. Sasa kahawa ya Kenya, chai ya Kenya, avocado ya Kenya tutauza katika soko kubwa ya China. Mimi nimenegotiate na wamefungua soko yao. Sasa tutauza mali yetu duty free. Kiambu hoye! Kiambu hoye! Tulikubaliana ya kwamba mambo ya barabara zenu today hapa Kiambu, barabara zote za Maumau zinaendelea. Barabara zile zingine zote tumeweka pesa. Mimi nasaambia watu wa Kiambu, ile ahadi yangu kwenu, mimi nawahakikishia page by page, pledge by pledge, nitatimiza kwa sababu ni haki yenu na kwa sababu ni...
Linda Mwananchi team has today convened a high-stakes People's Delegation Conference at Ufungamano House in Nairobi, with a section of Orange Democratic Movement leaders declaring that the fourth change has come. The meeting, rather spearheaded by what has been termed as an ODM rebel function, brought together key political figures. Let's have a look.
Addressing delegates in their parallel meeting at Ufungamano House, leaders insisted that the country is at the critical turning point, urging citizens to rise and demand for accountability, better governance, and reforms within political structures.
So, hiyo convention ambayo inaendelea pale Bongo ni convention bandia. Nimetangaza wazi kama katibu, hiyo convention ni bandia.
I feel like we are on a new journey. Many of the things that have changed or have been changed in this country have started in this place called Ufungamano. That the real ODM is meeting in Ufungamano. This is historic.
The conference, however, was not without drama. Earlier in the day, the police officers had attempted to stop the meeting, citing security concerns. But the efforts proved unsuccessful after a determined youth wing allied to the group overwhelmed the blockade, allowing the gathering to proceed.
Tuliambiwa ya kwamba hatuwezi fika hapa. Hapa ni wapi? Hapa ni wapi? This is the famous Ufungamano. Hapa ndio historia inatengenezwa.
The last time sisi kama wabunge tulikutana na Baba told us never to say two term. Tulikutana tukakula chakula and Baba told us do not say two term. What surprised me, after Baba gave us those instructions, he started ailing. Baba akaanza kuwa mgonjwa. alipotuambia tusiseme two term.
Leaders at the forum strongly criticized the action of law enforcement team, accusing them of attempting to suppress the democratic expression.
Huyu William Ruto amepandisha budget ya State House kutoka 4.5 billion in 2022 to 17 billion today. Yet watoto kule Northeastern hawaendi shule kwa sababu there is no feeding program. Pesa yote William Ruto amechukua, ameanza kukua sponsor wa ODM.
Safari zako za Singapore, panda ndege, enda peke yako. Our business and those of ODM supporters and the entire opposition is to fix this country called Kenya. We don't want to rename it.
And now to matters health. Nurses and laboratory technicians in Laikipia County staged protest in Nanyuki town as their strike entered its fourth day. The demonstrators began their march at Nanyuki Teaching and Referral Hospital, proceeding through the town center to the governor's office, where they demanded to meet county officials carrying placards. The healthcare workers vowed to continue with the strike until all their grievances are fully addressed. The completion date for Atlanta Sports City Stadium has once again been pushed back from an initial March deadline to May, with July 2026 now seen as a more likely target. The Senate Committee on Roads, Transport and Infrastructure assessed the progress of the facility and expressed satisfaction with the work completed so far, citing both the timelines and what milestones have been achieved. The committee also sought to verify that the procurement process adhered to the law and that public funds allocated to the projects are delivering value for money.
We are very keen on value for money that this stadium might have had. We are very keen on making sure that the procurement was done in the right way, and the sum of resources that are being used here are within the realm that would ensure that value for money.
And now to that health story, the previous story. Nurses and laboratory technicians in Laikipia County staged protest in Nanyuki town as their strike entered its fourth day. The demonstrators began their march at Nanyuki Teaching and Referral Hospital, proceeding through the town center to the governor's office, where they demanded to meet county officials carrying placards. The healthcare workers vowed to continue with the strike until all their grievances are fully addressed.
Serikali imetuzoea vibaya na tumechoka sisi. Tumewapatia muda. Juzi tulikuwa nao pale tukakaa chini nao. Lakini what they are saying they are consulting. So this time now we want to see the person who they were consulting. Otherwise kama si hivyo sisi tunaendelea na mgomo. Sisi tunapenda wana Laikipia, lakini serikali yao ambayo wamechagua imewa let down.
Kama kulikuwa na employment ilikuwa inafanywa, ilikuwa ina target ambao walikuwa employed na contract. Kwa hivyo tunasema ikuwe transition, hata ifai kuwa hata in transition ni manake hao watu tunafanya nao kazi. Na wanalipwa mishahara ambayo ni pesa ambayo haiwezi tajika kwa mtu ambaye ni professional. Tunasema wote wapewe PNP na kila mtu ambaye stagnate katika wauguzi wa Laikipia County. We cannot entertain stagnations ambazo pia zina range mpaka wengine hata miaka 10. Tunasema juzi tumekuwa na mkutano na wao lakini hawakuweza kutimiza hata moja. Kwa hivyo tunahimiza serikali ili waweze kutimiza hizo agenda zote, na tumesema leo tunatokea wote ili kusema kwamba punda amechoka. Sisi
wetu tunaachwa nje, sisi ni watoto wa hii county, wengine wamekuwa wakifanya kazi for many years and you have not been absorbed.
And with that, it is time for us to take a short break. Keep your feedback streaming into social media platforms at GBS TV Africa. The SMS line is always 21144. We'll be right back. So today we are diving into a topic that has become rather popular right here in Kenya, the K-pop culture.
I would say K-pop invokes creativity, like mega creativity. I have friends who are creative and you've done that and they're like, yeah.
An ex told me that K-pop girls, K-pop stan girls, who's like, the men you stan look like women. and you aim to get a man that looks like that. So if you fail to find a man like that, because obviously you're in Kenya, sisi ndo tuko, you're not going to find a pretty man.
For me, it's like I have two personalities at this point. I have my normal life and I have my army life. Because when I get into my army life, it's just like a whole new world. A community full of people who don't judge, people who accept you.
Learning Korean from a Kenyan can sometimes mess you up because they pronounce words differently, and when you speak to a native, it's like, hold up, what did you say?
I've never met like a K-pop fan. I don't know why.
What am I?
No, not when people want to like express themselves like, I'm a K-pop fan. Unless you see them like wearing like a branded t-shirt or a branded hoodie, you'll realize that they're K-pop fans.
The main campaign of BTS is loving yourself, right? And K-pop has a lot of drawbacks, just like anything else. Too much of something is poisonous, yeah? And one of the drawbacks is it comes with beauty because they have these absurd beauty standards. While BTS passed this message that you're supposed to love yourself, embrace yourself, you're just perfect the way you are. You know, you don't have to eat less to be beautiful. You're beautiful from the inside, right?
Get into BTS, it's hard to come out.
Okay.
My name is Aurelia Chama.
Man can only have dominion once he has the image of God. Man can only have dominion once the image of God is dwelling in him. So in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 45, is talking about the living spirit. Man became a living spirit. How did he become a living spirit? So when we think about this part, there is man that was formed out of the dust of the ground. But this man received the breath of God. And in that breath of God, there was a nature of God.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back to the bulletin, and now the Senate Committee on Roads, Transport and Infrastructure has conducted an inspection at Wilson Airport in Nairobi to assess the conditions of the facility. This follows growing concerns over safety at the airport after an aircraft veered off course while landing 3-4 days ago. The Director General of the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority, Emile Ngunza, stated that the agency had fully participated in proposing safety improvement projects at the airport. However, he expressed dissatisfaction with the pace of the implementation and rehabilitation efforts. Let's take a look.
What is the landing protocol in this airport? What time do they close and what time do they open?
We have a procedure where we correspond with them, where now, based on the life of an individual, if they need to be evacuated to a different state for urgent medical care, we collaborate with them. We are now working with the airport operator. We are able now to exit out of Wilson. But official operating hours for Wilson Airport and all aircraft that land and take off are known are from 6:30 to 10 p.m. Anything before that or after that, the airport is closed.
Concerns vary from safety to encroachment of the airport. There are a number of buildings that are ensuing around the airport. It's just making it very difficult for planes to be able to approach the two runways to the extent that is very risky with crosswinds coming from the same. It becomes very difficult for pilots to navigate landing and takeoffs in that particular.
Residents of Siaya County continue living in fear of yet another reptile attack following recent killings by man-eating crocodiles. With the help of the Kenya Wildlife Services, the residents today were able to capture one huge crocodile when it fell to their trap. Our journalist Baraka Gitonga with our reports.
Siaya County Warden Sheila Ochieng confirms the rampant attacks by reptiles to both human and animals, then appreciates residents for good collaboration with the KWS to help trap and capture these man-eating creatures.
Cases za human attack ziko rampant in Siaya, especially Bondo and Rarieda. In Bondo, we lost 3 people last year, and in this year tumepoteza mtu mmoja, na huko pia tumeweka mitego, tuna anticipate itashika. Pia huko we are working closely na community ili tuweze kuzuia issues za human wildlife conflict in Bondo. Nataka kushukuru wananchi wa Kopiata ikiongozwa na leadership ya Ngao pamoja na BMU team na wananchi kwa jumla wa Kopiata kwa ile ushirikiano mzuri tumeweza kuachieve kucapture 2 reptiles kwa sababu ya good collaboration between the community.
I first of all want to thank the KWS for very quick response, especially when we have this kind of a call, distress call. We normally we have a conflict with especially the crocodiles. Last year, some of our people were eaten, were attacked by the crocodile, and the KWS responded immediately. Last year, we also trapped another one, which was killed by the KWS after having been trapped. This year again, just 3 days ago, they went around and we laid down traps, which eventually has now yielded to this kind of one being caught.
The residents' outcry is that already they have had victims of these wild attacks and say it's sad that they don't get more consideration from the government and their leaders.
Kama watu wawili wale waliwawa kwa wiki moja, mamba ilishika watu wawili kwa wiki moja. Saa ile ingine iko kwa muchari, hiyo Friday mamba ikashika mtu mwingine. Sasa mimi hao watu nilikuwa nawajua na watu tulikuwa tumezoeana nao. Na kiliniingilia kwa uchungu sana ni kitu naona mtu mwenye najua kama imekuliwa karibu iishe.
Na amewacha mtoto.
Na alikuwa ameacha mtoto. Na huyo mzee pia mamba ilikula ikabakia tu kichwa siji na mguu.
Ni mbaya. Tena ni huzuni sana. Mama amewacha mtoto ya mwezi 3. Baba amewacha familia yake kwa sababu ya hii mamba. Na tumesamaliza mali imesaenda mingi kuhusu hii ng'ombe nini. Kuna mtu ametembea bila uji kutoka bahari mpaka nyumbani kwake bila nguo, amewacha nguo yake pala mbio, na hiyo yalikuwa nje, hiyo sio ya ndani ya maji. Jamani, serikali yetu, jamani, jaribu kusaidia sisi. Orengo, kuja uone na macho vile hii kitu naendelea. Kuja uone, usaidie sisi pia ni wa Kenya.
Mnyama ilikula punda yangu. Sasa mwaka huu mwezi jana tena akaua ng'ombe yangu akakula. Mimi nataka nilipwe. Hizo ndio vitu yangu ambao nanisaidia. Tuko na tabu, serikali paka angalie hali hii.
Otherwise, a resident demands award for being responsible for several captures of these crocodiles.
Mimi kwa jina naitwa Windo Tumba, mimi ni mkaji wa hapa Kopiata. Mimi vile nilikuwa nimetega, kuna chochote nilipewa, kuna hawa KWS aliniahidi kitu, lakini sikuona chochote hadi saa hii. Saa hii vile ilikuwa hii ingine ilikuwa imekuja tena kusumbuana tena, nikajitolea tu vile watu wetu walikuwa wanalilia kuja utege, nikajitokeza vile KWS alinikubalia. Pia nikatega, tulitega juzi, jana ililala, leo amekula. Sasa mimi napenda tu watu wetu wa siasa waniangalie kwa macho mazuri ili hata mimi nipate mapato.
As the residents now hope that this outcry leads to full solve of their issue, eyes remain fixed to the leadership of the county and the wildlife services to curb this calamity. Reporting for GBS TV, I'm Baraka Gitonga.
And now to some business news. Kenya's fast-growing virtual assets market is at a critical turning point as the government moves to formalize the sector through the Virtual Asset Service Providers Act of 2025. While the law is intended to align the country with global standards and create a structured framework for cryptocurrency. Industry players have raised concerns about its implementation.
Supports innovation while safeguarding the financial system.
Retail consumers, we right now have about 5.6 to 6 million Kenyans who directly interact with virtual assets, cryptocurrencies. So either interacting with stablecoins or crypto assets, these consumers are spread across cryptocurrency exchanges, stablecoin payment providers, and various use cases or various products that provide them goods and services.
I think the Act is not constraining. It was built on global best practice. And I want to remind people, it was actually the industry that led and contributed heavily into this Act. I have a sense a lot of people saying it came in late into the game because that is not a shared consensus, if you ask. If there's anything that was developed by consensus, by public participation, by building heavily on the industry.
Garissa County have started healthcare mainstreaming for people living with disability and especially ones with audio-related problems, the deaf, in their health system, which will make it easy for them to properly acquire full medical services through introduction of sign language interpretation by the Assist All online system.
Speaking in the forum, Dr. Aden Hussein, Director of Health, Garissa County, said that this is not an act of charity, but a requirement by law to acquire quality healthcare services, irregardless.
We must say thank you very much for this support, and we really appreciate for impacting knowledge and skill to our healthcare workers in order to make a difference within our health system and our community, particularly those who are disadvantaged in terms of accessing healthcare service. And one thing I want to say is the issue of mainstreaming and disability and friendly service within the health system, it is not an act of charity. It is a requirement by the law of Kenya, where each and every Kenyan must get accessible quality healthcare service, irrespective of their status and irrespective of where they are.
Luke Muleka addresses how accessing health services now is done on the media and online platforms where the deaf community is now accessing it with ease.
We are activating demand. That means the deaf community that are being trained currently at the going through another training at the government guest house, they are being told that sometimes getting services will require some interventions, and some of these interventions are available on the digital literacy, on the digital platforms. For example, access to the National Council platform now has gone to eCitizen, which is a digital platform. Access to tax compliance certificate has gone digital, which is on the... So if the deaf are left out of the digital conversations, they are going to be a problem. And now, with the lack of how this solution came up during COVID-19, when we were providing sign language interpretation and on the virtual space, it has now cascaded to help them in the general healthcare. So you realize that we're activating the demand side, which is the deaf community accessing service, but also educating or mainstreaming the disability inclusion to the supply side, which are the healthcare providers in this matter.
NCPW County Director says that all should strive to be very inclusive and consider everyone when it comes to healthcare giving.
Let us strive. Let us strive. In conclusion, let us strive. I think that is why we are here. Inclusivity, right? That's why we have Assist All up. So let us strive, not only in this one, but also in some other areas to include these persons with disabilities in the services, in the provision of healthcare services.
As Garissa County prepares to welcome these new changes in the healthcare system, residents will warmly accept this with open arms. Reporting for GBS TV, I'm Baraka Gitonga.
And with that, for sports lovers, it's time for your favorite segment of the bulletin, the sports news. Let's get sporty. And we begin the sports news in South Africa. South Africa has once again asserted its dominance at the All-Africa Junior Team Challenge Golf Tournament, sweeping the top honors with a commanding performance. The nation's strength was evident as they secure the top 4 individual positions, led by Andreas van der Leveer, who finished an impressive 15 shots under par 17, strokes ahead of his closest competitor and teammate Laurent Steyn. Despite the South African dominance, Kenya's Mahi Gisheru delivered a spirited performance on home soil, showcasing resilience and skill.
I mean, it was just working today. I was confident. I was just going through my routine and it worked out pretty well. I mean, at 15, I got a bit ahead of myself, started making a few bogeys, but before that, I was cruising.
Just like Njoroge Kibugu made the cut at the Kenya Open, there are now this other set of Njoroge Kibugus. Our girls, our boys did very well. Yesterday, they really pushed to get the best result, and that gives us some comfort, apart from a bit shake-up today when Morocco came following us so closely.
In an entertaining international friendly at Gillette Stadium, France national football team secured a 2-1 victory over Brazil national football team. Kylian Mbappe opened the scoring in the first half, and despite France going down to 10 men after Dayot was sent off, Hugo doubled the line. Brazil responded led through Bremer, but couldn't find an equalizer as France held on for an impressive win. And with that, we have come to the end of the news bulletin. It's always a pleasure having you on board. My name is Susan Nganga, and our sign language interpreter tonight has been Alan Kiama. Have a good night.
Everywhere, GBS.